Welcome back, everybody, to the After Hours Gaming League. We're up to game number 3 here in this match between Intel and Palantir. And, well, we've brought out the big guns, and that's apparently what I've been told. The two big guns from these two teams have come into the arena. We're going to be on Newkirk City, one of the maps which has actually been ported into Wings of Liberty ladder, which I found a little bit weird. We'll get into that in just a moment. But our two players, starting at the bottom right-hand side, is our Blue Zerg player for Intel. He'll be looking to seal the deal here and finish up with a 3-0 victory for his team. And, well, we'll find out if he's able to do that. It is RexChapman. And his opponent over on the bottom left-hand side of this very large two-player map is our Red Terran player. He's, I've been advised, he is one of the absolute top players of Team Palantir. He's going to have to fight here and make sure that his team does not fall out in a 3-0 victory. And he'll certainly be doing his best with that job. It is Excal. And, well, you know, this map, it's a very, very big map, regardless of whether you're playing it in Heart of the Swarm or Wings of Liberty, just because of the ease of taking some of these bases. Of course, as we can see here, you can grab that natural. There is quite a large ramp to try and defend this. It's one of those much bigger ones, which can be a little bit difficult to wall off at times if you want to do it quickly. There is a third base which you can take here, which is just right next to your main base. Sometimes it's very dependent on the player, whether they take this base as the third or this one as a third. So, you know, it's sort of a little bit different based on which particular race you are, how you like to play, and your styles, of course. You can sometimes see Zerg players take that, the sort of a little bit further away third base as that third instead of the closer one. But it's starting to become a little bit more common. But, well, you know, I'll be interested to see how these guys play it out. As we can see, a quick drone scout coming out of our Intel player RexChapman, going to be keeping a quick eye on what his opponent is up to. Of course, you know, while it is a macro map, you do have that added, the added factor that perhaps your opponent will go a little bit cheesy just to throw something crazy out there. I do believe both of these players are Masters level players. I believe mid or high level Masters players, both of these guys. So, of course, Palantir having to throw their best player out to try and make sure that they stay in this fight. And for Excal, as we can see, he's just scouting about, wants to find out where that pool is. Has it been started? Has it been finished? When was it finished? All these kinds of things. Also wants to keep an eye on when lings start to come out from his opponent. So he has got that good scout there. As we can see, RexChapman has gone for his natural expand. Very good stuff from him to keep an eye on whether his opponent has gone for a little bit of a bunker rush here or anything like that. But as you can see, nothing of the sort for now. An interesting little tactic. And this is actually one thing I was going to refer to when we're talking about this map on Wings of Liberty. This particular, the destructible rocks here that we can see, which will soon be covering this little section here, I'm a little bit surprised that they put this map on there, because these two, there's another one up here that you can see. If you drop down these actually cover these bases and protect them quite nicely, whereas in Wings of Liberty you have to do some sort of wall to protect them or something like that. Of course, this base is a little bit more difficult to take because there is already destructible debris over here, which makes it a little bit more frustrating to take depending on how you are going to play out your style. Of course, it is a fourth base, so by that time you will already have quite a lot of units out, but the question remains, will you be able to take it pretty quickly, or will you have to go for a much more extended fourth base up the top? A couple of things now coming out from RexChapman. We'll see what they're able to do. Probably not too much. There already is a bunker about to finish up here for Excal, and he's going to be able to defend this quite nicely. I really do like this little tactic here, sending this Marine across. There's no way that his opponent is going to see this Marine. In fact, as I say that, there is an Overlord that's looking to perhaps go in that direction. He's going to check the third base just to see if that has gotten started or not, but the rocks still going to be on the menu for that Marine. He's going to come back up here and get started with that rifle just to try and take this down as quickly as he can. What this does, of course, is this blocks off this base from being taken as easily as most players would like. But as we can see, RexChapman has gone for that. The base up towards the upper side of the map has been scouted by Excal, and well, he'll be able to try and drive his particular play based on that. Overlord now just scanning through, trying to see what's going up inside the main base here. There is going to be a third command center going up. Excal looks to be going for a standard sort of reactor Hellion kind of play here. Actually, sorry, that's a tech lab, my bad. He does actually already have the reactor Hellions over here, so it does look like it is going to be a blue flame based play. Actually, hang on, he could switch that around, actually. Yeah, okay, I'll be totally honest. I haven't actually played Terran Wings of Liberty for quite a little while now, so I'm actually a little bit out of the loop. I've been having to practice in Wings of Liberty because I'm playing in the C Clan League at the moment, and I don't want to kind of mess up my Terran play by playing a Terran in Heart of the Swarm and then just not building any siege mode in Wings of Liberty and forgetting and just losing all the time. So it does look like he is going to go for a mech play. It looks like we'll have a couple of Hellions coming out on the map. Widowmine's going to be following that up as well, along with some siege mode. There is a double armory set going up. The pair of armory is going to be starting up and getting, of course, a couple of upgrades going. The Hellion's going to scout out the third base just to see if this has been droned up quickly or not, and how much defense is going up there. The drone's actually just arriving in sort of the perfect timing for them. It's actually just after the Hellions have already left the city there. And RexChapman, a lot of creep chimmers already starting up, and they're all sort of generally going in the same direction. We'll have to see if he's going to spread them out a little bit more, but good to see that he's getting started on that creep spread straight away. Never want to leave that to the last minute, because you always want to have your opponent's base recarpeted as best as possible. Armories do go up, but they're not being utilized just as of yet. Of course, the +1 weapons will get started. There is the plating as well, so that's going to be added in, and it looks like Excal is going to go up towards a third base very, very quickly here. He does, of course, have the cover of siege tanks. That siege mode already done. No need to spend the time or the money researching that. The Hellions are going to try and get some damage done, but there is a spine crawler here. Will he be able to run around? No, it looks like he's going to lose one of the Hellions, unfortunately, and we'll just sort of head back out. This looks actually crazy here. All of these creep trimmers, like, all in the same spot. It's quite interesting to see all of that from RexChapman. But both players being very, very passive for the moment. We do have the lair on the way from Rex, and he's going to be picking up, well, a macro hatch as well inside the main base, of course. He is researching melee weapons and also the carapace as well, just making sure that everything is coming along quite nicely. Now, Zerg in Heart of the Swarm, when you're dealing with mech, which I would assume that RexChapman will know that he is dealing with, well, if he doesn't, he certainly will very soon once the tanks and the Widowmine start coming out in much greater numbers. A good way that I've seen some people to deal with, and by no means am I saying this is the only or best way to deal with it, is a little bit of a very gas-intensive style, but Viper, Ultralisk, and perhaps the odd Hydralisk can be thrown in to, we get the Lisk combination going along with the Dragonflies up in the sky. But that is a nice way to deal with mech. You can throw down Blinding Cloud from those Vipers. You can also use Abduct to pull tanks out of their comfort zones. And then, of course, the Ultras these days are just absolutely the most popular thing that you see Zergs going for. They do a ridiculous amount of damage straight off the bat there. Even without upgrades, the Ultras do a tremendous amount of damage and can clean up a lot of Terran units very quickly and with extreme prejudice. But we will see a Spire coming along straight up for RexChapman, and he is going to pick up a Bailey Nest as well. Finally getting started on some units as well. We got some Lings now popping out. We do see that there are still a lot of Lings out right now, so we'll see if he's going to perhaps switch into some Banelings, perhaps utilize a little bit of a bust or not. Meanwhile, for his opponent, Excal has got a lot of tanks up. We've got some Hellions over here as well, along with some Widowmines to protect this third base. He's going to want to just make sure this is very well fortified. Of course, the front door of the Natural does have a nice little supply depot wall here. Thor's now starting to come out now that the 1-1 has completed. We'll probably see him just continue on with the upgrades as quickly as he can, just because, of course, the Thors and all those sorts of units are very, very good at dealing out all of that damage. And now, as we can see, wow, very interesting tactics here from Excal. He's got a siege tank up the top. A Widowmine does fire at one of the Lings, and now it looks like with a couple of mutas out on the map, I don't think this siege tank is going to last too long. The mutas are, well, okay, So the mutas are just going to hook up with the rest of the mutas here and not actually get too much done. But there is a bit of a Hellion attack going on, a Hellbat attack, I should say, inside the third base. Drones being roasted up. Of course, keep in mind that the Hellbats now do 30 damage to light units, which is every single thing here apart from the Queen. So that is a very sizable amount of damage being done there by Excal, and he's going to be very happy with that. The mutas come along to try and deal with the tank, and they do get the tank, but of course the Widowmines were able to take care of some of the mutas there, putting them in a little bit of danger there with some of their health, but not really a massive amount done by Excal, or in fact by our Zerg player RexChapman there. Does come along, spots the fourth base. This has gone up extremely quickly by Excal. He's going to be forced out by a few turrets that have already been erected there. Very nicely done by Excal inside the main base. We've already got quite a few factories that have been built. We got 4 in total. 3 of them reacted, 3 of them tech labs, sorry, and then 1 of them is reacted. The Muta's still trying to get some damage done down at the fourth base, but not really much of an angle to go in there with. So we will have this game just sort of turn into a very macro-based game. I would not be very surprised to see our Zerg player probably try and take this base up the top side very quickly as well. Grabbing that 5th would be quite useful in his path to try and just get as much resources coming in, as many resources coming in, I should say, as possible. The Thors inside the main, able to protect against the mutas. Of course, they do that splash damage. You can also switch them over into the high impact payload. It does make them do a lot of heavy damage just on a single target, though. So it is a way of switching things around as a Terran player. Of course, that can be utilized to deal with things like Broodlords very effectively, and we'll see, is Excal able to get inside the main base, or the natural base here? He does drop in a couple of Widowmines. In fact, 4 Widowmines do escape just in time, and they're going to lay down the law inside this mineral line, even taking down some of those mutas. They're very nicely done, putting the rest in very low health as well, and he has Rex just not sort of realized, okay, looks like the some more Widowmines tried to run into the fourth base as well. Did get a little bit of damage done, but these guys still at the back here. One of them 1 HP on one of these Widowmines here. It looks like an Overseer is going to switch in. Some more Widowmines have been placed inside the main, getting a lot of damage done. Keep in mind, these also splash. There is so much splash that now comes out of a Terran mech army. It's absolutely incredible. So we do see some more Widowmine action down here at the natural, getting some more damage done in that mineral line. 23 worker kills in total by Excal as of now. That is a very, very sizable amount. The Widowmines now getting picked off slowly but surely. The Overseer coming across, the Queens are going to do what they can. Looks like the Widowmine of down here at the natural from Excal is going to be able to fire another shot. We'll keep in mind how much this gets done. Bam, not too bad at all. And he is continuing to get some more damage done inside the main. So all in all, not bad at all for our Terran player Excal there. He's going to be quite happy with the job that he's done. Multiple Widowmine attacks, and it looks like it is going to continue with more Widowmines being loaded up by the medevacs. Of course, we'll probably see them use a little bit of the old Ignite afterburners as well, and a large mech army from Excal is about to move out. He's got 3-3 halfway done. We may see it complete just in time for this push to head inside probably this fourth base here, and it looks like the medevac is going to try and dump some more Widowmines inside the fourth base here. Not getting it done, unfortunately, but the mech push continues. We've got those Thors able to control the air as well as the siege tanks on the ground, doing a very good job in cleaning up any units that might try and sweep through. We got to see, where is the defense from RexChapman? It looks like he is sort of wandering around, getting ready to prepare a flanking maneuver. The Ling's actually going for a counter-attack, it looks like, but there is a little bit of defense prepared back at home. Excal throwing up extra command centers now as well, so that he can get some more orbitals going as well. But it looks like the Lings will sweep inside into the third base of Excal. Not able to get too much damage done. Just that singular tank up the top is able to hold back, and it looks like the push is still continuing here. We've got a couple of tanks in non-siege mode here. Thor's also at the front, but it looks like the Ultralisk and Mutalisk combination is now going to come about. There are also some Banelings thrown in the mix there. Keep in mind the upgrades of this Zerg army are sitting at 2-2 for those Ultras. The Mutalisk don't really have too much, just 0-1 at the moment, and it looks like Excal is getting prepared to perhaps push in a little bit further. It looks like at the top side of the map we do see a Thor has found that extended fifth base up the top side there. He's going to have his way with that base unless the Mutalisk come to save the day, and save the day they do. and the Ultralists also able to come in and sweep through with their tusks, and it looks like the push from Excal will be forced back for the moment. So very nicely done by him to take care of this base. He's also discovered the top base up at this side as well, all the while establishing his own 5th base at the top left hand side. He is also looking to take a 6th and a 7th base at the top side of the map. So our Terran player is really looking to capitalize on the fact that he's got this very strong, very powerful mech army that is wandering around through the middle section of the map. We've got some Widow Mines also thrown in the mix just to provide some extra cover. And we'll see if they are able to get some more damage done. Just going to probably siege them up or burrow them right now. And there they go. Good splash damage there from one of those Widow Mines, getting a big hit on those Lings. Looks like the Vipers have started up for our Zerg player as well. He's going to get started with those. And the thing is, you do need to charge them up. Of course, the Vipers do have a consume ability. What you do is you get consuming on a building, and then it actually draws out the life of the building and converts it into energy. But wow, these randomly dispersed Widow Mines from Excal around the map are doing a brilliant job. Not only, like, you could make the argument that they're being soaked up by just a couple of Banes, or perhaps, you know, the Ultras just soaking up quite a lot of that damage, but I mean, it's giving him map vision. It's also giving him, as you can see, quite a lot of map vision there with 2 of them in that position. It's also giving him just the awareness of if the Zerg player is moving around the map. Of course, if he can throw down a couple of shots before these Ultras get into position, as we mentioned before, they're very powerful, but if he can start really downsizing their health before they get around and into position to attack, then they're going to be sitting very, very pretty as a sieged up Terran mech player. So I am very impressed by Excal so far. He's been doing a wonderful job in this game. He does have, of course, the 5th base up to the left-hand side here. He's got more factories now coming along. A 6 has been established here as well. Planetary Fortress, a turret, a couple of Widow Mines are also protecting this as well. He also has that 7th up at the top left, the top center side of the map there. What I would really like to see, perhaps at this point, is a another command center throwdown here. Turn it into a planetary, so there's that little extra bit of protection. He is getting started on more of those macro orbitals as well. This is a very common thing to see in mid to late game stages of Terran mech. Of course, you have a very powerful army in these Thors, the tanks, and all these units, especially when they're bunched up like this. It's very, very hard to stop these units when they got 3-3, doing 34 damage against armored in their normal pong-pong mode. And of course, the Thor's able to do 18 against air, and then 39 on the ground as well. But what you can do is, if you're able to perhaps grab a send in some of your SCVs, lose some of the SCVs, and then utilize mules instead of those SCVs, you can reach a lot higher supply count for your army, and that means it's going to be even more powerful. So we'll see, you know, if he is going to start to go for that. He's currently sitting at a worker count of 83, which is very high for this stage of a Terran mech player's game. Our Zerg player is currently sitting at 58. There has been so much damage done, and it's very interesting to see that RexChapman has not been able to re-establish his macro right now. Also quite interesting that these rocks have not been taken down to go for this base here for his own 6th or 7th base, but he is just preparing a very powerful force. We got Vipers, we got Ultras, we got Banes, and we've also got some mutas still up in the sky here. So Excal is going to have certainly a lot of work cut out for him. We've got a total of 15 Ultras, 5 Vipers, of course 15 Banes thrown in there just for some fun, along with 8 mutas as well. But it looks like there is the SCV sacrifice. It has begun. And, you know, for RexChapman, he's going to realize this. He's going to say, alright, he's starting to throw away some of these SCVs. There are going to be a lot of macro orbitals thrown around the map somewhere. This means that the army is going to start to get more and more powerful. The other thing that this also signifies is that a Terran is getting prepared for a possible switch into battlecruisers. Now you say, Duckville, you're so crazy. Why would you use battlecruisers in this matchup? The thing is, battlecruisers aren't too bad, as long as they've got some good cover on the ground. Of course, Thors are a good way to deal with that. And then, of course, if you can get a sizable amount of battlecruisers, they are actually very, very hard to stop, especially when you've got things like Ravens thrown in with point defense drones, the new Hunter-Seeker missile, which, while it's not exactly the same as it was, it's not as powerful as it was in Wings of Liberty, it still does a lot of damage and is able to splash around a lot of pain all over a Zerg army. So you do, if you can switch into battlecruisers and make a calm, slow switch into it, as we can see. Well, actually, you know, 4 battlecruisers at a time is quite a lot for a Terran player, but you know, if he can get that going and get it going in a very safe manner without sacrificing his ground army, then it's all the more better for Excal. Now, as we see, RexChapman getting a little bit worried, I think, right about now. He does have all those ultras on the ground, which of course can do a brilliant job against anything on the ground that the Terran has, as long as he can get into position and surround some of these mech units. But the problem is once these battlecruisers finish up, the ultras, last time I checked, cannot shoot up into the air, so that is going to be quite difficult for them. Looks like he has discovered that there are quite a few Tech Lab starports over here, and he's going to be able to sense that there will be some sort of air switch coming along. If he doesn't already, he's going to see it very soon. The battlecruisers, the tanks, and the Thors now coming along for Excal. He's going to start moving into the center of the map. What he wants to do is head up towards this base here, try and deny this one as best as possible. If he can take that down and then stop this as well as this from being taken, he is going to be in an absolutely brilliant spot as a meching Terran player. And it looks like the tank's not afraid of being poked a little bit by those spine crawlers. They're now moving into position. The battlecruisers hanging up at the top of this of the buildings here have absolute free reign over this, and while the ultras will be able to sweep through and cut down quite a lot of that, there it is. There is that blinding cloud. That's what I was referring to. That is a brilliant way to try and take down a mech army. The siege tanks, when they're under it, can only shoot to a max range of 1, which is melee. So that's not going to be fun for them at all. There we go. And as we can see, the ultras are able to just absolutely destroy that in a matter of seconds here. And back at home for Excal, he's been losing, he's lost one of his starports. He's also lost one of the tech labs as well. He's going to try and get out a couple of Vikings to help out with the Mutalisk defense, but I mean, despite that loss from Excal, he's still going to be able to macro up and get quite a few more units out. He's got these Widow Mines as well. We've also got the protection at some of these bases with the Planetary Fortress. He's not going to be able to repair this one back up and running, but I mean, regardless, that's a 6th base for a meching Terran. That's already something to behold. And it looks like he's still going to continue on with these battlecruisers, trying to push into this base, denying some of this mining here. Very nicely done, but it is deflected by RexChapman for the moment. And it looks like the top side is now under threat. The Ultras now sweeping through the SCVs, doing their best to try and repair, but that is so much damage. The +3 weapons on those Kaiser blades for the Ultralists does so much damage. 43 damage per shot, and that is just something to behold when you have all of these Ultralists coming about. 14 Ultralists still out on the map. 13 Corruptors are also available for air defense at the moment for RexChapman, so he's just now going to try and start sweeping through his opponent. There are also some Broodlords thrown in for just for fancy effect there. Now Widow Mine's going to be used as the main defensive tool here for our Terran player. Is he able to force it back? Yes, for the moment, but you know, he will need to try and macro up and get some more of these mech units out. He does have quite a few Thors just hanging back at the natural base here. Mines have also gone up, and one of the battle cruisers again just being very daring with one of these battle cruisers, just coming along to this 4th base of RexChapman. Keep in mind, this has denied quite a lot of mining from his opponent. Our Zerg player RexChapman is now sitting on 41 harvesters. That's barely any for this stage of the game. That is not where he wants to be. Probably wants to be a lot higher, up at that sort of 75, maybe even towards the 80 mark right about now, just so he has that possible backup of getting some spine crawlers up, because when you look at it, well, Excal's got a lot of factories. He's got a lot of production capability, and while he did lose his 5th and his 6th and his 7th base, he's still able to macro up quite quickly here with a lot of mules available, those extra orbital commands that he built, and now he is able to push through the center of the map. We got a lot of Widow Mines here. That is a sizable amount of Widow Mines that he can put down. Perhaps if he can put them in some nice strategic positions, he'll be able to deal with this very high-powered army of RexChapman. But more Broodlords now morphing in. We'll see what damage they are able to get done. Of course, this army of Excal does not have too much anti-air. It sort of depends if he wants to switch these stores into their single target mode. As we mentioned earlier, of course, it does do quite a lot of damage, but it is single target, so it won't necessarily be able to splash all over the Broodlords like you would normally see in Wings of Liberty, but He will have all these Widow Mines on the ground as well, which can help deal with those units. But this game just getting to a very passive stage right now, while both players just continue to macro up. Of course, this base here is still mining quite nicely. Not too many mules have been dropped here, and very low SCV count here for Excal. So he's continuing to sit around the 39 worker count, which is very good of him. I'd like to see him just sort of stick around that mark. Doesn't really need too many SCVs, of course, as we mentioned before. Lots of orbital commands around for him, so he is able to throw down the mules when need arises, and you can hear it. He's actually just scanning constantly, and is constantly able to keep an eye on where this Zerg army is. This is what you want to do as a mech Terran, because of the fact that this army is very, very strong when it's in position and sieged up. You want to be able to know where your opponent is so that you can get prepared and counter them. So that's why we continually see these scans from Excal. He wants to know exactly where his opponent is, wants to know where these broodlords are, just in case he needs to throw down some tomato cannon on them. We don't even have the Yamato cannon research, so let's not even worry about that for now. But he has been able to just slowly move his way across the top side of the map and gets in position with some tanks and some Widow Mines here as well. We'll see if they're able to burrow in time. He does have that drilling claws upgrade, so he will be able to get underground very quickly here, and we will see them burrow. Will they get some shots off? And yes, they do get a few shots off. Not a huge amount, of course. The Overseer here able to detect that, but the battle is on, and it looks like the Ultras will be able to sweep through here yet again. We have a trade of a base for an army, or in fact a couple of bases for an army here, and you know, I kind of feel like RexChapman, that's not the best situation he wants to be in. He still has not taken this base down at this southern edge of his main there as well, so he hasn't been able to take that. We've now lost this third base, which was barely mining. Yes, of course that is certainly true. But we've had no bases taken in the middle section of the map. He has not been able to keep this one up the top for a long period of time, and his mining has been forced down quite low. And now, as we can see, we got a single Corruptor trying to take care of this battlecruiser. With the corruption thrown on that, he should be fine to deal with that, and does so. With 1-2 upgrades on our Zerg player right now, it's looking very difficult for RexChapman right now. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to stick in this game too much longer, given that his mining is currently sitting on 800 minerals and around about 200 gas. So he's he's in a very troublesome spot. He's of course got a very powerful army, but it is a relatively slow army, and of course if our Palantir player Excal is able to get into position with his mech army of Widow Mines, tanks, and then of course those Thors as well, he is still going to be able to take care of the Zerg forces. So we do see that Excal is starting to mine out some of his gas. Of course, the main base is all gone. The natural is also gone as well. The third is, well, the minerals at least is looking very good here. He's got 5 workers on this this Vespene gas, which is a little bit unfortunate for him. But of course, the 6th in the middle going quite strong. The 7th up the top not going too well now that a big flock of Lings have now swept through the top there, getting some damage done on that, forcing the lift, and now will come through inside the 5th base here. Widow Mines coming to the defense, able to get a shot off. Will they be able to get another one off? Yes, they will. Good night, Lings, throwing down a couple of missile attacks there, was able to take down a lot of those Lings. Very good efficiency with those Widow Mines, and it looks as if a singular Widow Mine has been able to get inside this third base of RexChapman, along with a tank as well. These daring tanks, he's just thrown out these random tanks at times, and it's been very interesting to see. You know what, I love these ragdoll effects. We just saw a turret from a tank fly across the map and into the Destructible Rocks tower there. That was actually really cool. Like, total credit to Blizz for putting that in. It looks absolutely awesome with the new physics and all of those kind of cool things. But now we do see that Excal has switched his Thors into their single target mode. As we can see, 30 damage per attack. Of course, that is a range of 10 on those Punisher cannons. Does quite a lot. The weapon speed of 2 per second. And, you know, we'll see how much he is able to do with that. Of course, the forces of RexChapman currently sitting at a total of 10 Ultras on the ground. We got 5 Broods up in the sky, 14 Corruptors as well to deal with the possible battle cruisers and Ravens that may be up in the air. And if he now is actually thrown in, this is going to be weird for people who have only just started tuning into Heart of the Swarm streams. He has got 4 Infestors, and these guys have only just been added in. In fact, I'm not even sure where they are right now. They're that new. That's how crazy this is. But 4 infestors have now finally been thrown into the mix here for our Intel player. So we'll see if he is able to utilize that. Of course, Fungal still a fantastic way to deal with immobile units, and of course, especially the armored variety. Now it looks like Excal is about to push out. He has a very strong army here. The Thors, as we said, able to do a lot of damage in their single target mode. Lots of Widow Mines on the ground. Will he be able to burrow them in time? Yes, he does get started with that. Couple of Hunter-Seeker missiles also being thrown out there as well, but they get cancelled, and it looks like he is going to continue to slowly push in the infestors. There they are. There are those infestors. We finally found them. Got some energy for the fungal growth, of course, the neuroparasite as well. But it looks like the Widowmine's trying to provide a defensive pressure presence over on the top side, allowing our Mech Terran player Excal to move into position here, and he looks very, very good right now. This position is incredibly fortified right now. Widow Mines on the ground. Thor's in the ground as well, able to do quite a lot of damage, but the Ultras, once again, just able to mow through quite a lot of these units, and now the Broodlords will come through, but there are still quite a lot of Vikings up in the sky, of course, throwing in some Hunter-Seeker missiles as well. Now some mules come down. I'm not sure if they're mana mules or if they are repair mules. It looks like they are going to repair straight away. Very nicely done by Excal there. Again, I'm continuing to be impressed by Excal. This is some fantastic mech play from him. The Thors on the ground, a last remaining tank, will survive for now, but not for too long. The Lings, with their 3-3, are able to eventually chomp their way through those remaining ground units, but unfortunately, it's not the Heart of the Swarm campaign, so the Lings cannot jump, and we will see a battlecruiser survive. He is going to head back for now, though. And we'll see if Excal is going to macro up another army and just prepare for another attack. Nope, we're not even going to bother. We've got RexChapman throwing out the GG, unable to keep up. Of course, we saw his macro, unfortunately, just start to slip a little bit once his bases started to get constantly attacked and destroyed by our player Excal. And very well done by both of these players. I was very impressed by both of them. And we'll see Excal as he is going to be extremely happy to win that game here, bringing Palantir back into the fold here. The scores are now 2-1. We'll go into game number 4 in just a moment and see if Intel is able to bring back another win and finish up the set, or if Palantir's next player is going to be able to even up in a 2-2 and take us to an ace match. We'll go into that one in just a moment.